We're now heading to the Center of Unity, where we will link up with Eshomomo Ibodu and Tijesu Adeoye in our Abuja studio for the FCT brief. Good morning, Abuja. Antashi Lapia.
Muntashi Lafia, Kalun Sanuria, and good morning to the rest of the team in Lagos over there. It's fantastic hearing from you this morning. It's a chilly Wednesday morning here in Abuja. And
it's good to say, Carol, good morning to you. This is a good Wednesday morning to you all. TJ, there's something that came up that I think we should discuss before we go to the discussion of the day. I'm talking about the derailment of the rail, Abuja-bound Kaduna rail. Yeah, well, this just raises questions about our maintenance culture, because this is not the first time we're having issue on this route. This rail route is either they are being attacked by bandits or we see this derailment. My question is, who should now take responsibility for these lapses? Because these are lives being put at risk, and this is public infrastructure. Someone should always, be on those tracks. Should we now talk about having CCTV cameras on the track to monitor what goes on there? Because, this is a route that Nigerians ply on a daily. And, having security challenges like this on that kind of rail shouldn't be something that we should be experiencing at this moment. We're already celebrating improvement in public infrastructure. That should not be at the detriment of lives. You understand? There should be a proper maintenance culture to public infrastructure going forward. I just think that should be put in place to forestall this kind of issues from taking place. Yeah, and also I think investigation is ongoing to really know what actually happened. Was it a mischievous act of sabotage? Was it a terrorist act, or whatever may be the case? I think we will await the full, like the president said, I'm staying updated on the latest developments and await a full briefing to ensure swift action and support for all affected. Like you said also, I think we need to get to the point where we have a radar monitoring of our track. If we have a radar monitoring of the airspace, and anytime the aircraft goes out of it, also it has gone out of radar, then they know there's an emergency. We should have a radar coverage of all our track so that we'll understand what exactly is happening once the train is moving. I think with that, we'll have a measure of safety. We've come to the point where we can no longer leave it to chances, and like we do have. Indeed. And let's go into what we have for our viewers today. Now, thanks everyone for joining us on the midweek edition of FCT Brief. Now, the debate over zoning arrangements ahead of the 2027 general elections continues to stir political waters. This time, the African Democratic Congress, ADC, is taking a swipe at Nigeria's two major parties, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and the All Progressives Congress, APC. Now, the ADC is saying both the PDP and the APC have shown insensitivity in their approach to zoning and power rotation, accusing them of prioritizing self-interest over national unity. Party officials argued that zoning, if not properly managed, could undermine Nigeria's democratic principles, deepen ethnic divisions, and deny competent leaders the chance to serve. The ADC is also insisting that APC and PDP cannot continue to recycle old methods that fail to reflect the aspirations of Nigerians, claiming that what the country needs is equity, fairness, and leadership beyond sectional politics. The coalition is asking Nigerians to demand accountability from political leaders and to look beyond zoning when choosing candidates. According to the party, competence, vision, and integrity should be the driving factors in leadership selection. As the 2027 race gradually gathers momentum, the zoning debate is expected to remain a central theme in Nigeria's political discourse. Dr. Lemmy is a public policy analyst, author, and columnist, and he joins us live in the studio this morning. It's good to have you in our studio this morning. You're welcome.
It's great to be here, and the name is Udegbe. Udegbe.
Okay, Udegbe. I stand corrected. Well, the APC appears to be getting under the skin of the PDP, especially with its recent call for the state of emergency in Zamfara after the recent killings. Would you say this is a genuine security concern, or would you say they're just giving the PDP a taste of its own medicine?
Well, we all must be concerned about any incident that leads to Nigerians losing their lives or being injured. So to that extent, you want to give them a bit of slack, cut them a bit of slack, and imagine that they mean well. However, you and I know that in Nigeria, politicians take advantage of every situation. A playwright wrote "Dancing on the Grave." People take advantage, politicians generally take advantage to dance on the graves of people in order to score political points. It's important that we look across and beyond party lines when things like this happen, because the truth is that the death of every man should diminish each one of us, because humanity loses one of its own. It's important to ignore, when it comes from politicians, but ignore the messenger, look at the message. Is there a concern really? Yes, there is a concern. Is there efforts ongoing to be able to tighten the security and deal with spats of insecurity? I can tell you that, yes, we are still concerned about, some of these skirmishes, some of these killings, but the military and the intelligence outfits, the security architecture generally, they are doing a great job, because a lot of improvement is there. When the president took over and summoned the service chiefs to come and have a meeting with intelligence officers and co, he said there must be no discord. There must be symphony among the security operatives. And I see that there is a lot of intelligence sharing right now. Yes, we are not where we should be, but there's a lot of improvement, especially with the great work that the DGDSS Tosin Ajayi is doing, working to gather intelligence and share. We've seen a lot of, you saw the two terrorist leaders that were caught. This is a product of hard work. It's not always that easy, And fighting terrorism is a big problem anywhere in the world. So we must sometimes give security operatives their flowers. We also must not ignore, even when it is politically motivated, so long as it speaks about the death.
Okay, let's go to look at who we should give the flowers this time around. Is it the ADC, the APC, or the PDP? Now, the ADC is accusing these two other political parties that it's too early in the day to talk about zoning. 2023, zoning was the issue. 2027, do you think zoning is the issue? Or do you think we should go the way the ADC is asking?
Well, in a country like this that is quite diverse, with several ethnic groups split into 6 geopolitical zones, we cannot really delude ourselves with the fact that even constitutionally, our diversity has been taken care of. That's the essence of federal character. So there is that understanding, and it's not about even politicians. Amongst Nigerians, once a part of the region has done a region now has done 8 years, usually they look at the other side. In fact, that is part of the calculations that brought in President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as president, because at a time when Buhari's tenure was elapsing, the arguments came as to whether zoning should happen or not. And these arguments have been a recurring decimal. It didn't start at that time. And it took Nasiru El-Rufai to be one of the strongest governors at that time, who were vocal enough to go and meet Buhari and say, this is a resolution amongst us governors that we must return power to the South. Now, it was still the discussion even in PDP at that time. And it was because a northern aspirant at that time, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, also wanted to run. And someone like Peter Obi saw the body language and saw that Atiku seemed to be having a upper hand. And that will mean another 4 years for a region that had done 8 years with Buhari. And till tomorrow, PDP is still licking its wound, its scars, over the decision not to play along with the zoning issue of returning power to the South after the North has done its 8 years. That is where we are today again. It will be naive or maybe pretentious for us to say that the zoning issue is not an issue. It is an issue because even among the Northerners, it is unpopular, even for them, to think that a Southern candidate does 4 years and the power again shifts back to the North. And that is the reason you see that there is an overture to someone like former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, knowing that that's the only way they can lock down 4 years. A Jonathan will not get the opportunity to do more than 4 years. So power returns naturally to the North. Again, the zoning has its own disadvantage. Disadvantage because maybe there's a candidate. Okay, let's look at it. Let's even look at the fact that a zoning that just says north-south, that leaves northwest has done, Yaradua, Katsina, Buhari, Katsina, so northwest have taken that. What happens to northeast? What happens to north central? And we have south in the south. We have south did it with Jonathan, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. We have Asiwaju Bola Tinubu here now, 4 years, southwest. We have Obasanjo did 8 years. And nothing is happening with the southeast. So these are the arguments, because when you zone, do you microzone? PDP had the issues of you zone it, you microzone so that it goes to the southeast. Somehow they knew it wasn't going to happen because people like Wike, people like Atiku did not want such a thing because naturally it will edge them out. So zoning is a factor. Even the ADC, I think it's been largely hypocritical in this case because ADC itself, there's a groundswell of public opinion that ADC is not just zoning it, ADC has zoned it. The suspicion is that ADC has zoned it not to a geopolitical zone, but to an individual. And that's foreclosing the chances of so many other people who are aspiring from the south-south or from the southwest. So what are we talking about? It's politics. Politics is a contestation for power, contestation for ideas, and everybody comes to the marketplace to, exhibit their wares. So if ADC has a strong point, they should also be courageous to take a position. Because when people say it's too early in the day to even begin to talk about 2027 elections, so many other elections had happened, and people talked about it long before now. So let's not kid ourselves.
Well, it's not too early to take a position. That is to the political parties. But we'll continue this conversation. That will be right after the short break. Don't go anywhere. We still have more for you on the program. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. You're still watching FCT Brief. And we're still maintaining our discussion on party politics and with zoning to the south in view. Now we still have with us Lemmy Udegbe. I believe I got it correctly.
Stay on my just stay on my first name.
All right. Well, beyond these political intrigues, would you say Nigerians are disposed to zoning, and will it gravitate towards any political party, or would you say that Nigerians just maintain, fairness and who can deliver the job?
Well, there are quality people across the divides. There's no region that is lacking in quality persons to occupy the office. But what is clear is that the average Nigerian is conscious of the fact that power should shift. Is conscious of the fact that one region cannot do full 8 years, 2 terms of 4 years, and still want to, cut into what is being done by a president from the southern extraction. So Nigerians naturally, even the simple law of nature is that you cannot have 2 brothers, okay, in a family, and the 2 brothers, you are sharing assets, and one takes 8, what's it called? You have maybe 16 16 property to share, and one has taken 8 already. The other one is going for its own first 4, and you are saying no. You want to give the other 4 bits again to the person who already has 8. That will be injustice. I understand the arguments about should we not be talking about merit. Perhaps we will need to adjust the Constitution, because even when you say the issue of zoning is not enshrined in the Constitution, the issue of federal character is. And the essence of federal character is to make sure no region, no state is cheated. So if we say that, then somehow, ingeniously, that has been captured. And therefore, look, I am a Nigerian before I'm a journalist. I'm a Nigerian before I am anything else. And I am interested in the fact that if a zone has had 8 years, it's only natural that we should move power to the other side. The only thing that I see is that, okay, even within those zones, because politicians, there must be some honor. Even when you zone, should we also not begin to also talk about microzoning so that the essence of rotational presidency will also, trickle down to all the other geopolitical zones? Because right now, as it is, it's just as if some zone or some region have been somehow sufficiently maybe bad politicking, maybe the numbers they do not have. The other day I saw that INEC released the report on ongoing voter registration exercise, and the zone that is agitating that we have been neglected so much, which is the southeast. I saw that they were doing 400 in a state, 300 in a state, while the states in the north are doing 35,000 already. States are doing, I think a state in the southwest have done 65,000 already. So these are concerns. So even when we talk about zoning and microzoning, you two must come up to the plate. You two must be able to demonstrate that you are ready for business. Because whether you like it or not, ultimately, it's a game of numbers. Democracy and elections are games of numbers, and therefore you need yourself to work on getting first the votes, 2, then pushing for electoral reforms. Okay,
when we talk of zoning, should it be a political party-based issue or a national issue? The reason is, for instance, PDP, for instance, Obasanjo had 8 years from the south. You had Yar'Adua that came in from the north. You now had Jonathan that came in from the south, 6 plus 8, 14. Some people will argue that the north, the south has had it for 14 years, while the north just had it for how many years? That's according to party. So where should we situate it now? Is it a political party issue, a gentle arrangement within political party, or we should make it a national issue? Then why is it difficult for us to elevate it into our statute book and put it there, just like we had federal character in our books? If we believe in it, let's put it there.
Well, I continue to say, whether or not it's in the book or not, we're operating it. When PDP dared to defy that zoning arrangement, even in the heads of every Nigerian, it is there. When PDP dared to defy it, you see what they have suffered. They did not only lose that election, in fact, they went comatose. They are trying to revive themselves now. The FCT minister at that time was what's it called now? An aspirant for the presidential ticket of the party, okay? And his argument had always been, if the North had had it for 8 years, why should the South not have it? Now the problem is, when arguments came, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar realized that, okay, the way they are going, they will edge me out. So he now said, look, the only way I would say it should go to the South is if you microzone to the southeast, knowing that, of course, Nyesom Wike was bent on his ambition at that time, was not ready to shift ground. That led to Peter Obi leaving the party. What are we saying? The implication of it is that the party went into disarray. Until recently, that the minister himself, Nelson Wike, says, I am vindicated because the party has retraced its steps. The party has now come back to say, we are going to be zoning it to the south. That is to tell you that, except you want to commit suicide politically, this is what is in the heads of Nigerians. Many of us would ordinarily want to talk when it comes to other issues, talk about merits and all. But I can tell you for free that there are leaders everywhere. There are quality leaders from all zones. It will be disingenuous to try to say only one side has that quality. So when it's time for this zone, let them all come together and produce. When Obasanjo came in to run, there was Olufalaye. There was that understanding that, look, let's have this power at this level in the south. And so only one person came to run against him. PDP is repairing its errors. Whether it's too little, too late, we do not know. But it tells you that one of the things you must do, whether as individuals or as political parties, is to tell yourself, face the truth, have deep introspection, tell yourself, did I do right? To what extent did I do wrong? And correct it. That's the only way. And Nigeria of today, maybe in future, but the Nigeria that we have today is a Nigeria that will not have power in a region for 8 years and ignore the fact that power should shift. And this is a consensus, whether among the middle class, among the lowlies, even among political elites. That was why Nasiru El-Rufai led governors to go and tell Buhari that, look, this must happen. We cannot retain power in the north again. This will be divisive and it will bring to the breaking of the country. That is a fact.
Well, let's move ahead. Aside the zoning, the ADC has been the loudest opposition voice recently, but critics say that its politicians lack the integrity as a party to, lead Nigeria. Should Nigeria judge them based on their past track record, or should we wipe the slate clean and trust that they will bring something fresh to the table?
Look, usually there is the cliche that Nigerian politicians have no ideology. But I think I want to amend it, differ slightly, and say Nigerian politicians have ideology. The ideology they have is power by all means. Okay? So, can you really separate these politicians? Can you separate them? They've moved from one place to the other, moved from one place to the other. A few days ago, they were singing praises about somebody. The next time, when their political interests clash, they say, crucify him. The next time it aligns with their own interests, they say, Hosanna. Look, we really need fresh breeds. Unfortunately, this is a system in Nigeria where it seems to be gerontocrats, where it seems to be people who have the means and all. So what fresh person do you want to throw up? Who is going to let it happen? So we keep recycling. We keep recycling. There are very few politicians who have stayed true to cause. I am in this party and they've remained in this party. I'm a critic of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu largely, but you cannot take away facts are sacred. You cannot take away the fact that he's been, straight on party lines. He's not jumped here and there. But any other person among the major people who are playing today, okay, I'll see the criticism, ADC. Look, who is in need for the people? When Italy was created, in the 16th century, an Italian philosopher said, we have created Italy. Let us now create Italians. Where are those leaders with the milk of human kindness? The leaders that are concerned by every life lost, that are concerned about the millions of out-of-school children, Nigerians that are concerned that children are dying of malnutrition and UNICEF is bringing out the results. We are not talking about politicians who just want to score cheap political points. It's important that a country's democracy will only thrive when there are strong opposition parties.
Politicians.
And so we must encourage them. Maybe they would divorce themselves of their previous sins.
We need to take this quick commercial break now. We'll still continue our conversation. Stay with us. We'll still have more. Continue our conversation. Now, would you have any other final words for us before we let you go?
Well, it's to say that Nigerians shouldn't lose hope, and to remind the president that his promise is to bring succor to the people of Nigeria. The macroeconomics indicators are showing, something appreciable, but it needs to now rub off on the people so that, because the best way to really campaign ahead of the next elections is delivering. Once the people have food in their stomach, there's security, and schools can run, then the president has a head start over many others. But we must be people, journalists, politicians, must help government concentrate on governance and not divide or distract us all with politics at a time like this.
Well, it's a fine place to leave the conversation. We must say thank you so much for your contributions on the program. Hoping to have you back some other time.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on our conversation this morning. We'll now hand you over to Lagos, where Ria Abdul and the rest of the team are standing by to proceed with the rest of the show.
All right. Thank you so much, Abuja. Mungode. Thank you.